Welcome back, everybody, to more Mini Metro. I'm Daniel, or Dan, from Dan Has Fun, and we're going to play Chicago this time, which for some reason is a slightly different colour scheme than every other map. Let's dive straight into it. Can't really do much worse than we did with the other American map, so let's try not to prove ourselves wrong, shall we? Let's get the speed up to double. I haven't actually recorded any Mini Metro in a while, although it may not be that clear from the recording schedule. It's been a couple of weeks. Primarily just done the Advance Wars stuff in the middle, and you'll see that every Wednesday. It'll be Advance Wars Wednesday and Mini Metro Saturday for now. Again, we might do some community maps. We might do just a different game, different franchise. I'm not sure. I'm up in the air about what we can do. We're not set in stone. It's nice that we can be flexible. If you've got any preferences, anything you'd suggest, just let me know. And we will certainly at least take a look at it, or guarantee that much. This layout is stupid already, by the way. I am not happy with how this looks straight off the bat. So I'm going to delete that immediately. We're going to do one line and probably two line like that. I'm almost wondering if we should go over to the square, but no, we're not going to do that for now. We're just going to do this loop. Like that, at least we'll have another shape in there. Still not the most optimal layout, but this is quite pretty. I did notice on the starter, just before we clicked on the actual map, it's kind of pretty. It goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue, a bit like a rainbow. I'm sure people from Chicago will probably tell me, well, that's intentionally a rainbow, but for somebody like me who was, born and raised in the UK, and the UK's approach to American history is limited, to put it mildly. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. I'm sure somebody will tell me one way or the other. Anyway, we're not getting very lucky so far with all the circles being in one specific side of the map. We're not even using the third line yet, so let's get a carriage as a precaution. But yeah, I'm not sure how difficult this is going to be, mainly because, well, even though it's a very thin river, it doesn't matter how big the tunnel is or the bridge, it's still going to classify as a bridge. So they're just as inconvenient as the big fat rivers, like the Thames on the London map. But I can already see that we're going to have potential log jams. So I'm just going to put a second locomotive down on the orange line immediately, which turned out to definitely be the right decision. I'm going to put a third line in, though, this time around. We're just going to go like that for now, just because I don't want the orange line to get overstretched. And this is definitely not optimized, but at least it's something, I guess. Again, that's a little unfortunate. We really want some circle. If we're going to have circles, we want some down kind of by this triangle in the bottom right corner, or even by the square here, for example. Having all the circles slap bang in the middle area collectively is not helpful, because a circle will never want to go to another circle. So it just makes it very difficult to work with. That, though, sucks, because we don't have any bridges. So I guess what we're going to have to do for now then is not have this yellow line go there at all. Have the yellow line do that for now. Have... Why do I still not have... Oh, there we go. There's the bridge. I don't have a line. That's the problem, I guess. This is a bad start already, isn't it? So we're going to cancel that for a moment. We have 3 bridges. It looks like we 1 bridge, 2 bridge, 3 bridge, and then have it connect at the circle, I guess. Yeah, we'll do that for now. Again, still not particularly optimized, but when you're limited on lines and bridges, you gotta do what you gotta do. Should be hopefully getting a new something soon. I'm not sure if we want bridges or a line more. Both would be very, very good. I guess we're not going to get that option, so I'm going to pick the line. And I'm just going to hold it in reserve for now. I don't actually think this system will get particularly overwhelmed in the next few days, or next week or so, in-game. But we're just going to be careful as a precaution. That'll be... Is that an American football stadium symbol? I guess? But anyway, it actually didn't spawn in a terrible location, as it happens. So I'm not too sad about that. We are having issues at this circle station, understandably so, because everything that needs to go to a square is getting dumped off there, and this line, unfortunately, is going to have to take that. But it just means we're going to have to put our backup locomotive on the red line just to make sure everything can get to the square, and indeed the American football shape as well. Although not a huge amount of demand for that symbol as of yet. A lot of square demand, but not a huge amount of anything else. And it's invariable, inevitably, when we've only got 2 trains with a single carriage apiece, this station is just going to get very, very busy and be on a timer practically constantly. That is... Well, it could have been a lot worse, I guess. Having a square each side of the circle now means that as long as there's space on a carriage available on the red line, the squares will always go regardless of which direction it's going to. So that's not actually that bad. Although if we had more bridges, it'd be tempting for the orange line to go to that square. But we don't have that option. We are going to take an interchange because we're probably going to need it on that circle, but we're going to wait for now to see how busy we get. See how many people are going square and see how many people are going to go enjoy their leisure time. Well, apparently enjoy. I'm not a huge American football fan. Even by my standards, I like things like cricket. I find American football slow. But that's to each their own. So this red loop is unfortunately pretty big. That's not fantastic. This line, actually, the yellow line's getting fairly busy, even with the few that's going on it. I'm going to put the interchange down, I guess, for now, because I really don't want to put a third transit line on red. This is why we kept our spare locomotive, because I knew there'd be a... Well, I didn't know, but I assumed there'd be a fresh symbol somewhere. I honestly thought they might have put it down here, but this pentagon being here is fine. It's just a shame it is surrounded pretty much exclusively by circles. So I guess we're just going to do that for now, just so we have some flow between yellow and orange at another point. This line is also getting super busy, so I guess we're just going to have to put that carriage on. I always like having a spare carriage on reserve, but needs must. Yeah, this is a horribly laid out system, where we might actually lose virtually immediately. But really our issue is a distinct lack of bridges and the fact the shapes really have fallen in a horrible way for us. Because we really need something out here, like a square or even a triangle would have been alright, but none of them are coming to the same place. And we're pretty much going to lose straight away. And I don't think there's very much we can even do about it. I guess for now, we're just going to have to put this on the line too. I think we're going to lose immediately though. Get an interchange, pause. Well, we won't lose straight away anyway. The time is going to go down, but I think it's just delaying the inevitable here. I guess we should put this locomotive back on though, just to kind of replace what we had that we lost. But yeah, this is looking pretty ugly already. And the issue is that, like I said, all the squares and all the circles are pretty much going into their own separate locations. This is really, really not a good layout for us. We want a variety of shapes all over the map, and that is just not happening here. Also, the red line is ridiculous, which is why we ended up with so much traffic at that interchange, and how it's such a lumpy, slow process. Orange line is getting too busy. That having another circle on is not great, but I guess we're just going to have the green line eat that for now, because there's not that much in the way of pentagon demand. Pentagon demand. That's not quite what I meant to say. Another circle. Like, we need a triangle, a square, anything. I also noticed this has changed shape, so we now have the upside down ice cream cone on the orange loop. It could definitely have been in a worse location, so I'm not too upset about that. But it would be nice if, like I said, even just a triangle over here. I mean, a square would be better, but a triangle at least would be something. I'm actually wondering if the green line should actually take that on as well. Why you do this to me, game? Making the red line look so stupid. And it's getting longer and longer and longer, and the interchange circle is just getting more and more wild. We have 2 bridges. The problem is we really don't have the lines to support what we need, so we're just going to burn everything and try this again, because this setup is dismal. So it's very, very apparent that we're going to have at least one line where we're going to have to get these 2 primary, the kind of exception to the rule shapes on it. And I guess we'll do that for now because we don't really know how big a demand they're going to have. So we'll do that with the first loop. Second loop is going to deal with crossing the river. So we're going to do triangles, circles. We're actually going to connect it up there. Why not? And how do we want to loop this back? I didn't want to set up the line yet. We're going to go to this circle. And then I guess we're just going to have to cover these 2 like that, and we'll connect at the American football. Then we have the yellow line, which I think is also going to connect. I'm going to have it connect at this interchange, given we did the investment to make it an interchange, and once you make an interchange, you can't change that back. Okay, so we have 1 bridge left just in case we need it. And what we're going to do is go square, circle, cone, circle, circle, triangle. We can't make that a loop, but we can at least have it go backwards and forwards on a fairly short line. And then we're going to see where all these locomotives end up. So we have 3 extra locomotives. We're going to probably need a second one on orange. We're going to probably need a second one on red. And I would say we're probably going to need a second one on yellow. And hopefully we don't just immediately lose, because that's the one downside of having to kind of redo everything, is that, well, the traffic's got to go somewhere, and all the passengers that are already on the locomotives get dumped off at the nearest station. I guess red's going to take that for now. And that one too, I guess. Now, the problem we've got is... Actually, we're going to put this one on the red line. The problem here now is that the red line's a little bit too big. I'd like to have this on 2 separate lines if I could. We're going to keep our spare, our spare carriage as a spare just for now, because I want to use that to kind of plug the chaos wherever the chaos may unfold. And it's fairly apparent. Oh, we also have a plus symbol now, so the hospital is on the yellow line, which actually isn't that bad because it's so interconnected. I think that's actually fine as it happens. Upside down traffic cone, though, is going to get super duper busy. Just can't keep control of what's going on. I'm actually surprised it's suffering as badly as it is. I'm not really sure why, so we're going to put that carriage on the green line just so it can kind of express towards the square. Although I think we might lose immediately. Why is this station so unbelievably busy? I'm not even sure. I'm sure I've messed something up pretty hard, but I'm not even sure what. Yeah, we are losing so unbelievably badly from the get-go here, I think. The only thing I could possibly think of is that the lack of square on the red line is causing everything to jam up in the middle. Anyway, we're going to lose, I'm sure, and we're going to try this again. And hopefully we'll suck a little bit less, right? I mean, that's the hope. We only got 699. It didn't even give me the pleasure of getting to 700. So we're going to try that again. Let's see if we get a little bit luckier when it comes to the actual layout that it gives us. Because I feel like we may not have played that particularly brilliantly, but I don't think the randomness of where the stations went really helps in that regard. We're just going to connect that there for now. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, right? The map itself may physically be the same every time, but the stations change every single time. How much it changes, I'm not really sure how it's done from an algorithmic perspective. But at the very least, it changes enough where there's not a very obvious pattern. Maybe when certain new shapes spawn is fairly set in stone. But other than that, I don't think there's a huge amount that it says, for example, circles all have to be on the left. I'd be surprised if we get that to happen again. I'm actually going to turn this one into a loop temporarily, like that. Or not, because we're out of bridges. That's fine. Early on, it's fine. I'm just going to have both lines connected to the square, just because I think that's what made everything go horrendous last time around. That's a horrible circle location already, though. That is very unfortunate. So I guess we're going to do that for now. Really, we want a square in the middle. But it looks like, again, we're not going to quite get lucky enough to have the square in the middle. We're going to end up with, hopefully, not everything just crammed into one corner like we somewhat got last time. I'm going to do that so it gets the circle between the two triangles. So if a circle wants to go to a triangle or vice versa, it should get picked up pretty much immediately. Okay, we're going to get a third line. Well, a fourth line. We now have a spare because I'm going to be making a third line. We're going to bin all of this immediately because I hate it. We're clearly both, have both lines have to deal with the square. So let's do that, I guess. And I guess some overlap right now won't matter too much. The problem is this. So what we're going to do then is, I guess we're just going to have one separate line for now. I guess, okay. All right, so I'm going to redo this again. I'm not even happy with it right now. So we're not going to have everything connect to the square, I guess. It's just not really practical. So we're going to have the triangle be the pivot point. And then that, I guess we'll have that go like that then. Okay. I still don't think this is perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but at least the yellow and the orange lines are interconnected enough so that we can always get to the square. And once we get extra bridges, we will definitely be using that fourth line. But that is an absolute guarantee. Because red line right now is really just there as a precaution in case we get something awkward in the bottom right corner. But we are starting to see a little bit of a similar pattern to last time, unfortunately, where we're ending up with practically every circle on the left-hand side again. Not quite to the same extreme as last time, but we're just going to have to keep watching. That's okay. I mean, it could be a lot worse than having the triangle spawn there, but actually that would have been a good place for a circle, as it happens. Yellow line's getting a little bit busy. That, we're going to put the red on that right now, because red line is definitely being underutilized, and I don't like to use the spare vehicle straight away off the bat, but we're going to need that because the yellow line is getting rather busy. I'm not honestly sure this is going a huge amount better than last time, if I'm going to be completely transparent with you. I'd like to say it's a bogey city for me, but, well, all of them kind of have been. I really wanted bridges, and it appears the game is not going to be forthcoming when it comes to bridges, so we're just going to have to deal for now. We're going to have to put a second locomotive on the red line, especially now. Although a circle actually is pretty good, because this line is the one line that didn't have a circle on it. So that'll be an easier way of it dealing with its own circles rather than having to push them off to the yellow line. That's not actually too bad. Orange line, though, is getting very, very busy. So I'm going to put the... I don't have another locomotive, so I guess it's getting the carriage. There we go. I couldn't even click on the thing for some reason there. It was clearly me and not the game. Yellow line, I guess, is going to take that square. I don't want to overwhelm the red line because it's the only one that's connecting to the unique symbol. And if you guys would be so kind as to pick that circle... Oh, you know why? Because I am stupid. It wasn't ever on the loop. That is what happens when you don't pay enough attention. So we nearly lost because we just purely were not paying attention. So good job we caught that, and that would have been quite a way to lose, and I would have laughed about it and then felt a little bit bad afterwards. So, no, I apologize to anybody that's been screaming at the screen that, hey, pay attention, that's where that is. Yeah, my bad. This, I guess, is just going to have to be kind of an express style line. So we go triangle, we'll take a couple of circles. The square's on the other side of the river, though, which means we would have to use a bridge we don't have. We are having a really hard time, because, again, the problem is that we only have a couple of different shapes left of the river. That is what is causing us such a giant problem. I guess we're just going to have an extra line do that for now. I mean, it's just there for when we get the locomotive. We don't even have another locomotive, so there's going to be nothing actively running on that line for a moment. I just don't want to disturb anything immediately. We're going to move this one now. I think that's the safest way. I was kind of watching to see where the panic would be, and I didn't want to move it straight off the bat. I guess we'll have orange out there as well. Week 4. Bridges. Where are the bridges? We could, my kingdom for bridges. There's no point even taking a line because I don't have enough locomotives to even run another line. And it wouldn't be a line that could go anywhere because we have no blooming bridges. So we're having a challenge. We're going to have to clearly put another locomotive on the red line, though, because all the pluses that are going to show up at this square station have to go somewhere. And I guess yellow's going to have to take that because green only has one locomotive on it, so it's not really going to have any capacity to do that. And I can already see we're going to need a potential couple of different locations for an interchange. Actually, that's not too bad, as it happens. So rather than connect there, I'm going to have this line connect to there. And then it's going to loop back. So it's a somewhat express line to the American football station. And I'm also tempted to potentially... Yes, it makes the yellow line a little bit slower. Actually, I'm not even going to do that. Cut that off there. Have this circle. This circle's not going to get serviced by that station anymore. We're just going to do that instead. Just so that we have a different station that's being interconnected actually by a few different lines. I mean, I've seen worse locations for that. So we'll just keep going. We need... If we could get a square on the left-hand side, not another circle. I really don't want my express line to get too bogged down, but I guess it's going to have to take that shape. We just need a square on the left-hand side. That's really all it boils down to, so that way we can have a sync for all of them. And wow, this is really... We're having a struggle, guys. Are we even going to get to 699 like last time? I don't think we will. We're having a really, really difficult go of it. I guess you would expect the maps to get increasingly more difficult as time goes by, but I don't know if that's just the case or if I'm just really bad at this, because it could be either or. I guess we're going to have to go up there like that. I'm going to keep the interchange in my pocket for now. The yellow line and the orange line are both having problems, but I think the orange line is having more problems right now. So I guess I'll put the locomotive on it. Orange line only had one locomotive. It was just double capacity because of the carriage. So I feel like that makes the most sense. The Pentagon being there... Again, I guess for now we're going to have the red line take it because the red line isn't super busy. Although it will probably benefit from having a second carriage on one of them so it can kind of bulk transport from the grey station. From the square station. Everything's grey. It's all grey. It's all fish. Orange line is, again, getting very, very busy, so I'm going to throw the spare carriage on it. So it's now got 2 locomotives that are double carriage, which I don't feel like it's fantastically optimal, but it's what we've got. And the problem I think we're going to have is that yellow line, I think, is going to get overstretched, and there's going to prevent things getting over to the red line. And ideally, I'd love to have legitimately an express line connect over from the left and the right, but we don't have any bridges, so we have no capacity to do that, like none. And as you can see here, this triangle is just unbelievably overwhelmed because everything wants to go square and the yellow line is way too busy to handle it. To the point where I'm actually tempted, if there was a bridge, I'd do this and move the orange line over there, but I can't do it. Again, having both the squares show up on the same side of the river is causing us the problem that we've got. I mean, also me playing badly is probably causing the problem that we've got, but please can we have bridges? Please. Please can we have bridges? My kingdom for bridges. And the game is just determined to not provide bridges, apparently. And I think we might just lose immediately again. I guess we have a spare locomotive, we're going to have to use it. There we go. We didn't quite lose, did we? Maybe? Yes, we did. Oh boy, guys, we're not doing very well. I'm not going to give up, though, but I am going to end this video for now. We'll have another go at this, another crack. Wow. Well, we didn't do very well, but I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, if you want to like or subscribe, that's greatly appreciated. You want to share it with your friends or family, that's awesome too. But yeah, hopefully you can do better on this map than me. I don't think that says very much, but we will try it again. Like I said, gonna have a little relax, stretch maybe, and we'll try this again. So again, appreciate your time. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for watching the video.